Yeah, it's your boy Hope the Anointer with DJ MC.
What up, what up?
You are listening to WHRB Cambridge, that's 95.3 FM, where all the music is hot. We are currently in the building with the illustrious West Coast representing internationally trained and doing their thing, Davey. Davey, what's going on?
What's happening? How you doing, man?
We got Brooke in the building.
Davey, what's going on?
Oh man, it's live and direct right here, Hip Hop Radio. So we're gonna get into the interview right now. My first question for y'all is: you're definitely from California. I wanted to ask, how did that influence your music early on? And also wanted to get into a little bit of how you met, and how long have you been doing music together? Kind of give the darker side audience a little background to your origins and also influences musically.
Well, I can do the part on the influences. I mean, we're influenced by everything we see here. We grew up on a lot of different kind of, music selections. Our parents were very, eclectic in what they listened to. My parents personally were not necessarily like soul and R&B. There were a lot of classic rock, jazz, fusion, new wave, post-punk, a lot of that kind of stuff. And she probably tells the story of how we met better, as well as probably her own influences and whatnot. Okay. That's me personally. So.
Okay, cool, bro. Now you, Jack.
Yeah, well, as far as influences, like you said, I mean, our parents were just kind of all over the place. So I was, more classic jazz and, like soul and R&B. And then my dad was heavily into hip-hop in the 80s. So, so it was mostly like, Rakim and Eric B. and a lot of.
I just did an interview with Rakim like a couple weeks ago. He's real dope. He's probably
my favorite MC of all times. Actually, I still remember the first time I saw him perform live. I was I was 6 years old, so I always remember that show. But so a mixture of that. I think being from California and it being LA being a beach town and the people there are very laid back, hippies at heart and gangsters, to the core. So it's, our sound has that slop and that lean, but it also has that very dreamy, laid back vibe. It's just, when you wake up every day, it's December and it's 75 degrees outside, you can't help but make dreamy music,
Yeah, speaking about your music, I was kind of wondering the process of your creative sort of, abilities, where you go to, what sort of machinery even you're making. I'm sort of a geek like that, and there's a lot of geeks listening to Harper Radio, of course. So, why don't you let us into a little bit of how that goes about? I know, Brooks, you were definitely rocking I saw your Roland up there, and maybe a little bit of how that comes about, especially the creative process lyrically and everything like that. So,
I mean, it's kind of we don't necessarily have a specific system. It typically ends up where I do a track, and she'll have something that's written that fits the track. But as far as the machinery, I mean, I've used everything from like MPC 2000 to 2000 XL, MPC 5000, Ableton. I mainly use Pro Tools, but I mean, I just, you go into Pro Tools and just kind of, chop it up and add, synths and other instruments or whatever, But I mean, as far as the technical side of the production, there's really no one way to do it. It's just however you're inspired to do it at the moment, you know what I mean? If it's a friend of mine, Steven Bruner, Thundercat, who, is the dopest bass player that I've met, especially on the West Coast and whatnot, and he'll have a line or something, and we'll play off each other, and then a whole idea will develop from there, So we don't like to try to, go at it from one angle every time, man. We have to just be vessels and just kind of like let it flow through however it, comes out.
Very organic sort of thing going on. All right, and do you ever have a song just idea that you're just, we got to do this and let's go with it? I have the lyrics and stuff.
Sometimes, but like you said, I'm always writing, so I just keep a little arsenal of things that I can just pick and choose from. And usually, he'll come up with something and I can just automatically, throw something in my head down, and it's like you said, you never know how it's gonna work. It just works.
Okay, thank you. So my next question for both of you, just that, going into the music itself and the connections. Now, I've heard a story that you actually had Prince as your sound man, and I just wanted to get into, that Prince moment right there. We know Questlove, the big homie from the Roots, he always has these Prince moments that he's always talking about. So kind of get into that, and whichever one wants to talk a little bit about that, a magical moment.
I will.
The purple one.
I will stray away from giving any moments, any specific moments. I just won't do it.
I'll give some specific moments. No, I
mean, just being invited to open for him was, a moment in itself. So the whole thing about the sound man, he asked us to open for him in Vegas, and so we showed up to the sound check, and he was there and very involved, and made sure that everything looked great and sounded great, for us, and so that was, an amazing thing to see him behind the soundboard while we're doing our sound check.
Right.
That's a real moment,
Right. Okay.
Yeah, I think that's the moment. I mean, all the other stuff is like funny and witty and interesting, but I will not divulge because I don't need him coming after me.
Okay. Now, Jack, I have some questions for you, or a question for you. I was reading your blog, and in it you talk a little bit about a struggle with a quote-unquote vice. And I just wanted to ask you if you could go into maybe, your struggle in itself. If you can't get specific, maybe if not, we could try to talk about any messages you might want to communicate to younger people about similar struggles they might be dealing with.
I think one thing I will say about my blog is that being an entertainer, I'm always entertaining. So my blog is a form of entertainment, and it deals a lot with like who I am and how I feel, but I want people to understand that it is an alter ego, and sometimes what I'm giving as nonfiction just might be fiction. It's kind of like a way of like toying with the reader's mind and like creating this alternate universe, which I think I've done very brilliantly with my blog. So
you have.
Thank you. So currently, yes, in dealing with a vice, it is something. It's kind of like a little trick that I'm playing on my.
DJ Hope the Anointer had to put you on the spot. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. It's kind of a little trick that I'm playing on myself, and it's not serious or like a drug addiction or anything like that. It's just something it's something very minor in my life that I was conversating with a friend about, and as a little joke, it was like, well, let's cut that one thing out, and it's so minor, but I pumped it up on my blog to make it a big deal.
Good, that's good promo right there.
Yeah. So it's just my way of being humorous with myself, dealing with the duality that I face, being like Brianna Cartwright and then being Jack Davey.
Right.
So the blog is an interesting thing. The vice, I've let it go. It's over. The 21 days have come and gone.
Oh, congratulations.
Thanks.
On whatever it was, but we're gonna have to try to find out later on. But
if you dig deep and you read deep enough, it's very obvious, or so I thought. But I'm.
You get that question a lot.
No, actually, recently a few people that know me, like my best friends, are like, "What is this thing?" And I'm like, it's not that deep. Just keep reading.
Well, yeah, we've been doing this thing. Hip Hope is a very eligible bachelor, and we just wanted to see put it on a shine. Is there Mr. Jack Davey right now, or?
No, I'm a horrible date. I'm a horrible girlfriend. So I'm married to the music. I think it'll be that way for a life. I'm content with being alone and married to the music for a lifetime.
I just had to put you on blast.
Thanks a lot, man.
But no, it was a great show. You guys, you really held it down, I think.
They tore the building down.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely. And it's a joy to talk to you guys, and we're going to keep playing you.
Definitely. My last question for both of you is, are there any new projects that you want the Darker Side audience to look out for? And if so, where can they get the music, get it in their hands, from iTunes, wherever?
Well, it's actually we just are at the tail end of finishing our Warner debut, which is a new designer drop.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And that it's looking like late summer, you know what I'm saying, something like that. We'll also be putting out a mixtape of sorts beforehand, and I don't know if we've settled on the on the title or not, no. But it's there definitely will be some little freebies beforehand.
Yeah, we're just gonna keep flooding the market. I mean, with the way that the industry is now, I mean, you have nothing to lose by just flooding the market full of music and full full of visuals. So stay tuned, www.jdaveybaby.com.
Shit, you've just heard the J. Davey exclusive interview. This is 0308. That's right, March the 8th, 2009. Your boy DJ Hope the Anointer, DJ MC, and we're out. Chill.